occasion of the departure of the 3rd Canadian Motorcycle Regiment to places unknown, I have great pleasure in presenting each of the officers who will say a few words. Their voices and sentiments may be recorded for future remembrance and for the inspiration of the nation. May I say that I consider it a great honor to have served as chaplain. May I congratulate the regiment and wish them the very best in these words of an old toast, to the honor of the regiment at home or abroad, in distinction or in obscurity, sound, clean, and true. I have great pleasure in calling upon Colonel Smith, commanding officer.
Thank you, Padre. It has been my good fortune to be in command of this regiment when, for the first time in its long history, it has been called out for active service as a regiment. I feel particularly proud, not only of my own position, but of the fact that I have such a fine group of officers, NCOs, and men to help me in my determination to make this unit the finest and most efficient in the British Army. My only hope is that God will give me the courage and wisdom to make a good leader and be worthy of so fine a regiment.
Colonel Bruce Hutton.
Colonel Smith and officers of the 3rd CMCI. I have been in command of this unit some years ago, the brigade, and now, sir, I have been called back by you to take over the responsibility of the 2nd regiment, that's to say the non-permanent unit. And I understand it's my duty to see that you will be provided in the future with the necessary reserves of officers, NCOs, and other ranks.
Captain Christie, second in command of C Squadron.
I'm going to speak along a little different lines from the gentleman who preceded me. I noticed an interesting thing in the Gazette this morning, Wednesday, October 2nd, 1940. The heroism and daring of civilians in England is being recognized by new British awards. I will read in part a special cable of the New York Times in the Gazette. Civilian heroes were recognized today when the London Gazette announced 3 awards of the new George Cross and 14 awards of the George Medal to men and women who have taken extraordinary risks in passive defense.
Lieutenant McLean, Troop Officer, C Squadron.
I suppose this is rather sad leaving, but I'm sure we are all anxious to get to camp. And as we are departed for places unknown and everyone has an idea of where we are going, I should suggest personally we should move a little closer to Ottawa, though Jim Duncan might have another slant on this. However, I am personally pleased to be part of this regiment and hope I can accomplish everything that is expected of me. Okay?
Lieutenant Whittingham, Troop Officer, B Squadron.
They always say that the NCOs are the backbone of the Army. I'm certainly proud to have been chosen by the OC from that rank to take a commission in this regiment, and hope that I'll certainly live up to what he expects, and that the regiment, and I'm there with them when they're pulling the man over the other side that's causing all the trouble.
Major Hugman, second in command of the regiment.
I feel very happy, and not to say lucky, to be the second in command of this regiment this time in our history. I know from my experience on the staff what it means to be away from your own unit. I am very glad to be back, and my only hope is that I may do my share in helping to make the old 17th the best unit in the CASF. You heard the Colonel say that he felt fortunate. I think we are the ones who should be proud of our Colonel. I know that my only hope is that if I am ever privileged to command a regiment, that I will be half as good an OC as Colonel Smith. Thank you very much.
Lieutenant Wadman, Captain Bjorn, Adjutant.
Thanks, sir. May I say that I am indeed proud that CO selected me as his adjutant, and I am certain that all units under his leadership will maintain the traditional high standard of the 17th Hussars. We also call that rat Hitler and beat him at his own game, and we consider ourselves very fortunate to be chosen as one of the new motorcycle regiments, which will still enable us to take our place out in front, and also with the good old cavalry spirit of the 17th.
Lieutenant Wadman, Paymaster.
Thank you, sir. May I merely say that how proud I am to be paymaster of this unit. As paymaster, I am undoubtedly the most popular man in the regiment, but only on 2 days a month.
Lieutenant Robinson, Quartermaster.
Thank you, sir.
As a very new soldier and a graduate of the McGill COTC, I am very pleased to be appointed to such a fine regiment as the 3rd Canadian Motorcycle Regiment, 17th Hussars. As regards boastfulness of our qualifications, I can at least boast truthfully that I'm the best commissioned quartermaster in the regiment, there being only one.
Lieutenant Mendel's intelligence officer. Thank you, sir. To those who may be listening in the future to our voices, may I just say that this is an important occasion for us, being in the nature of a farewell. We are convinced, however, that if the firm courage and determination of a fine bunch of fellows will win this war, then this is not farewell, but a brief au revoir, and we shall see you all again soon. Lieutenant Beck, technical officer.
I'm very proud to be technical officer of this very fine regiment, and I will take this opportunity of wishing all my comrades the very best of good luck, and that we may have many happy reunions of this occasion after we have done our best and a little more towards licking Hitler.
Lieutenant Balfour, medical officer.
Being the medical officer and fairly recently attached to the regiment, as well as its only attached Presbyterian, I don't think I should say very much. However, we're a very happy lot here. Everyone's in good shape, and I'm sure we'll come through all right.
Major Thompson, commanding A Squadron.
Thank you, Padre. After 19 years' service with the regiment, it's certainly a great feeling to think that it has not been in vain. Knowing Colonel Smith and his officers, also the NCOs and men, I am sure that we have the quality that the regiment will make a name for itself, irrespective of the job we have to perform.
Lieutenant R.B. Scott, second command, A Squadron.
I have a faint idea that as a junior officer, if I try to get across any important views, it might later be used against me. In fact, I might even have to buy around. So I'll confine myself to talking a great deal, but to saying little. I understand that the object of this recording is to get your voice, and that this is no time to record your pet views. And as the Padre has already introduced me, my time is up, I'll say au revoir.
Lieutenant Duncan, troop officer.
Thank you, sir. It seems that a cavalryman should have a very flexible mind. In other words, he should be able to think quickly and make up his mind on the spur of the moment. Having been told approximately a week ago that I was going to have to do this little job, I, to my regret, depended on my very flexible, quick-thinking mind. In this unit, we have adorned our persons with elegant hats, strewn pictures around the mess, and are now having famous last words. It was undoubtedly the impression that we are going to be missed. Well, without much looking around, this regiment is fortunate in having such a fine group of officers to carry on and take our place. Thank you.
Lieutenant Allen, troop officer.
Thank you, sir. My name is Allen, Lieutenant Allen to be exact. Second troop, here. The best troop in the regiment, or rather I mean A Squadron, here. I believe there is one more troop in the squadron under Jim Duncan. Oh, pardon me, I mean Jim Duncan. Becoming more serious now, I'm very proud to be with A Squadron under Major Hawkeye Thompson and Wahe McCushnick Scott. And I hope again that our association continues indefinitely. All for one, and one for all. Thank you.
Major Newroff, commander of B Squadron.
Just 26 years ago this week that the Canadian government offered to the Imperial government a second division. 25 years later, a second Canadian division has already landed in England. Both these groups have shown to the world the finest of spirit, and it's because of their wonderful example that I am able to say, too, that we shall follow their inspiration and show to you who come on later a fine spirit.
Captain Bierman, second in command, B Squadron.
Thank you, Padre. As a member of this unit for the past 16 years, my greatest thrill was the news of mobilization. I am sure that although we have lost our horses, we shall carry the spirit and dash of the old hussars on our motorcycles and ride them right into Berlin if necessary.
Lieutenant Domville, troop officer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Well, it's a lot of fun talking over this. I haven't the faintest idea what I'm going to say, but I'll try and make it shorter than the other remarks you've heard, even though they're not as interesting. I feel an awful lot like Bing Crosby or Mr. Moto without their accomplishments. If anybody in Hollywood hears me, I'm ready to open to all offers. Thank you very much.
Major Bob Kelly, commander of C Squadron.
Thank you, Padre. May I say that I consider it a very great honor to be commanding a squadron in the active service regiment. This
honor, however, imposes a very great task upon one, however, and I hope, therefore, that to the very splendid bunch of boys which we have in this regiment, and to the regiment itself, that in the discharge of this great task, I shall not be found unworthy.
Lieutenant Mackenzie, troop officer.
Thank you, sir. I suppose my accent will very easily betray the fact that my own people have been in this mess for at least a year, the best part of a year before I was invited to join in, and I hope that any opportunity I get to help the thing along will not be found wanting.
Captain Vickers of Regimental Headquarters. Thank you, sir. Not being an eloquent speaker, the only few words that I can say is that at the present state, the unit is doing so well that I hope we do get our crack at Adolf Hitler.
Captain O'Hara, Regimental Headquarters.
Very proud to be a member of this regiment. I only hope in discharging my duties as OC of Depot, I'll be able to send some very fine men out to help you boys along. Thanks.
Lieutenant Bill Bowen, Regimental Headquarters.
Thank you, sir. I have been with the regiment for 5 years and hope that I will be with them for many times that number. During this time, I have learned a lot, probably forgotten a lot more. But this I would like to have go on record for the benefit of future junior officers who may start worrying about the duties of the orderly officers. Just call me. But joking aside, here's to the 17th. There is no final.
Lieutenant Cassidy.
Distracted thought. The past, horses. The present, foot drill. The future, gasoline contraptions which erupt and blow, both from the same end. They are washed, not brushed, filled, not watered, oiled, not fed. They clatter at the bit, buck and stall, and at times prance on their hind wheels. However, no stables to clean, and they neither bite nor kick, and as yet there is missing the command, make much of your bite.
Lieutenant Miller.
Hello, Ma. Hello, Pa. Greetings. From a salesman to a soldier, that's me. Just a small-town westerner trying to make good in a big eastern regiment. Captain Tommy O'Hara, the Irish wit, and other brother officers spend hours of their time trying to tell Doc Belford and I how much better these soldiers are to come from the east. We steadfastly refuse to entertain the idea. The Army is a grand life. The 17th Hussars, the finest of regiments, and its members are all he-men. Watch the smoke of these boys.
Lieutenant Alice, Regimental Headquarters.
Thank you, sir. We ought to be the first in line to chase Hitler back to Berlin. I hope the next time I hear this record will be in the Hotel Adlon on Unter den Linden. And I hope that some of me at least is there, and not as orderly officer as I am today, for I could hardly describe our rations, namely Adolf's cook, as of good and sustaining quality. Thank you.
I regret that Lieutenant Hart, the transport officer, and Lieutenant LaBelle, the signal officer, are absent on quarters and are unable to take part in this recording. We are now to have the regimental song sung by the officers of the regiment.
Clang, 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 the gears are clashing. We are the Thursday MCR. Though we used to be hussars, now we ride in old Blackburn. As we blitzkrieg Adolf Hitler all the way. All the way, all the way. As we blitzkrieg Adolf Hitler all the way. All the way, all the way. As we blitzkrieg Adolf Hitler all the way. Start, start, start your glasses, boys. Drink to the 17th Hussars. Oh, raise your glasses high and down them when they cry. In the banner of the 30 MCR. Drink a toast, drink a toast. Drink a toast to the 17th Hussars. Drink a toast, drink a toast. In the banner of the 30 MCR.
This is a recording of the voices of the officers of the 3rd Canadian Motorcycle Regiment, 17th Hussars, CASF, on Wednesday, October the 2nd, 1940. We are most grateful to Mr. George S. Lacey, an honorary member of the mess, through whose generosity and kindness these recordings have been made.
We now have the regimental call and the officers' mess call played by Trumpeter Giles. The officers whose voices you have heard on this historic record were introduced by the Padre of the Regiment, Captain the Reverend F.H. Wilkinson, M.M., and 2 bars.